Alrighty guys, this video is a video about working with rings. When you get rings and you're not able to do full pull-ups or full dips or the most difficult version of the row, you need to be able to set up the rings in a way that you can provide assistance. So I'm going to show you how to do that today for those three movements for pull-ups and dips and rows. So let's go over pull-ups first, since this is generally the easiest setup. What you want to do is get your rings hung up on some sort of beam or pull-up bar or like a ring hanging bracket, and you want to stand right below that bar or that pivot point, and you want to come up on your toes, and you want to pull your hands down low to right about the crease of your armpit, or maybe like your bra line or the nipple line, okay? And so this is the finished position. You can see how well I can balance on my toes here, but this is the finished position for ring pull-ups when you're using assistance. So it looks like that's about in line with this hole here. So I'm going to adjust the rings up so that the bottom of the ring is roughly where my fingers were when I had them in that position, okay? So that's the first part. All right. Now, if you don't have rings and you're using a traditional pull-up bar and stuff like that, you can always use a box to try to achieve the same height. So let's go ahead and test this out. In theory, when I come up on my toes, I should be right at the finished position. So now generally your toes are also going to be a little bit in front of that pivot point. So it seems like this is still actually a little bit low. So let's take them up higher just a bit. We'll see if we like that better. A little more on this guy. There we go. Okay, now, so when you come to the top now, if you're on your toes, you should pretty much be able to hold yourself in place by grabbing onto the rings. So walk your toes forward a little bit and come all the way down to the bottom of your squat. And this is going to be the bottom of your assisted position. So when you're doing assisted pull-ups, you want to start here. You could start with two legs, working your way up. Both legs are assisting. You can play around with bringing the feet forward or knees forward. I like to kind of sit in this deep squat. Some folks like to kind of bring their knees forward like that. It doesn't really matter which one you do, as long as you can reach that finished position. So two leg assist, so on and so forth. So what we've done now is we've set the rings to the proper height. We've figured out sort of where our feet go, and we've made sure that we can pull up to the top of that finished position. Now we can start to go through the actual progressions. So the first one that you saw before is two leg assist. I'll do that one more time. I may even adjust these just a little higher, just because I want to see if it feels significantly different. All right. So again, for assisted pull-ups, the rings are set to where your fingers would be at the end position of a pull-up, and you are on your tiptoes. The idea here, which I'll show you in a bit, is that you should just be able to remove your feet if you really wanted to do the full weighted hang. So here we are in the bottom position. Let's do 5 with two legs assisting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so little break. It's tougher than it would seem, as always. So you have two leg assists. That's sort of the easiest position to begin with. Then we move to single leg assist. So you're going to pick one leg that stays on the ground the whole time. The other leg, for most people in most situations, it's easier to stick that other leg forward. So let's demonstrate that. Again, I've got my toes ever so slightly in front of this pull-up bar so that when I'm hanging all the way down, my butt is right below the pull-up bar. So when I'm here. So for single leg assist, stick one leg out. There you go. So from set to set, you would just switch sides, left leg, right leg, etc. Now, the final progression would be single leg assist with no assistance on the way back down. So you're going to help yourself up through the pull-up with one leg, and then you're going to take the legs off the ground and come all the way down to the bottom. Now, when you're working with assisted pull-ups, it's really difficult actually to let your legs just hang down straight because you'll run into the ground. So you'll kind of have to keep the legs tucked as you perform the negative part of the pull-up here. So you can even two-leg assist on this one actually. So I'll demonstrate both. We'll do 3 reps here. So 2 legs assisting on the way up. No assistance on the way down. You can see I pretty much get right at the full hang at the moment my legs touch the ground. Single leg assist. And other single leg. And there you have it. So that's leg assisted ring pull-up work. Now let's talk about dips. Actually, it may be easier to talk about, well, we'll talk about dips and then we'll do rows and then we'll do push-ups since they're kind of all in order there. So for ring dips, what we want is we want to set the bottom of the ring to where our hand is in the lockout of the dip position. So it's going to be right about where we are when we're on our toes. So for me, it looks like it's right above this hole on the squat rack, which is pretty low. All right, we'll start with that and we'll see how it feels. Now, what I suggest you do is once you know where these different ring positions are, you can mark them on your squat rack with just a little bit of chalk, and that will help. So you could see here, I'm on my tiptoes. I'm in the ring finish or ring support position, which is where I externally rotate and depress my shoulder. So my thumb should be out, not forward, not in, but twisted out. So on the toes, and then everything is the same from here. So we can do 2-leg assist, coming down, press. So there's 2-leg assist on the dips. Now same as before, like the pull-up, if you really press into your finish position, should be able to take those toes off the ground, which I can just barely do. So that means these are right in the right spot, maybe like a tiny bit higher. same as before. Single leg assist, you can either go backwards. For dips, it's usually easier to just bend that knee. So working our way down and then press. All right, so single leg assist. Hopefully it makes sense where we're going to go next, which would be assisted positive, unassisted negatives. I don't really want to take too much time here. We're already at 10 minutes, so. All right, let's see. I can always cut this video later, I suppose. So single leg assist on the positive, unassisted negative. So here we go. And there you have it. So that's how you would set that up. Ring rows and ring dips are often quite close in terms of ring location, depending on the individual. What you want to do is lay down so your shoulders are directly beneath, whoops, I don't have it in the right spot. I don't even know how that happened. So that your shoulders are directly beneath the pull-up bar or wherever you're hanging it from. So right now, my fingertips can just barely touch the rings. That's exactly where you want them to be, because if you could get your hands around them, you won't be able to actually get up off the ground. So if I grab one and grab the other, now my back is actually off of the ground, just ever so slightly, but that's what we're looking for there. Now, the key to getting good ring rows is to then elevate the feet. So I usually use a 12-inch box. Grab hold of these guys directly, that's actually too far, directly under the pull-up bar, and we will go for 5. So there's your setup for rows. Your setup for pull-ups is really quite simple. You're going to lower the rings all the way towards the ground and only leave enough space for your knuckles to barely stay above the ground. So hopefully this helps you guys set your rings up in the right spot so you can do all of the different progressions to the full movements, such as full pull-ups, full dips. Actually, the rows that I demonstrated are the most difficult ones, but either way, if you want to do the rows, you're still going to set them to the same height and then just change your angle. So if being directly underneath was too hard, you just come back here and do the same thing and just start working your way down to directly under that pivot point. All right, so hopefully that helps, and send us any questions if you guys have them. All right.